Okay, here we go. We're back. We are going to see about finishing this up. If we don't finish it up this sitting, it will be finished up in 2 sittings. But all right, so I am going to finish up these cliffs. I am going to finish up these trees back here for sure. I need to put some reflections in the water down here. And I want to darken, I'm not sure, let me make sure you can see this. I want to darken this section here, and I'm going to darken back here a bit just to add some depth, because it kind of looks like this goes into nothing. and I want it to be connected. But I think it's holding together. We've got the midtones. I do have these darks here. Kind of do that as a key for myself to keep me keep my focus on where I want my light level to be. You can do a whole painting having your darkest darks here and your lightest lights here, and have a very dark painting, evening painting. It's, you know, it depends on the mood, but you can do that. But this, I had a specific feeling I wanted to get across with this, and so this is the color palette I picked and the amount of light that I wanted to come through. I wanted it to be on kind of a higher level, you know, not a overpowering sunny day, but a warm and you know, diffuse warmth in the painting. So hopefully I'm getting it across. Now I'm getting emotional, so let's stop that and let's get painting. So I am going to wet just this area here. In this cliff area, I'm going to use a scraping technique, but I want to I'm working towards a certain moisture level in this area. This room is kind of dry, the heat's kicking on, and I need to time it correctly, give myself, so keeping this nice and having it good and moist is going to give me some leeway, some time leeway. What I went and did. Oh, I'm gonna have to give that time to dry. Now this is one of my favorite techniques, but it is one that requires some practice. I have not done it in quite a while, so let's keep our fingers crossed that I can pull it off. All right, I'm gonna get down here in this water, and took me a while to decide whether this was going to be water or a road. And it just, of course, came out Looking like definitely water. I think it's appropriate. Oh, look at that. It's already dry. Yep, it is dry in this house. That is something that you really have to contend with when working with watercolors, is the humidity of the air around you. It's very much a natural or part of nature type medium. It reflects everything that's going on around you. It just really does. If painting outdoors is a real dance, the old masters that used to go out, and that's how they use it, watercolors. They go out and do a quick watercolor out in the, by the pond, or the old impressionists, and take that, because you can do it quickly. You don't have to worry about drying time. Take it home, and then they do their oils. So it was part of their studying. or some people, I don't know if you're into realism or not, but go check out watercolors and realism. You'll be floored. They look like photographs. It's absolutely amazing. Watercolors gets put on the paper in an opposite way than oil or pastels. You know, in those, you put in the white, you put in the highlights, and often you do it after you've put in the darks. Whoa. All right, that done. Let's let that dry, and then we'll, doing that, we'll work on these trees. Now, if you can probably tell, these trees, if I was to leave them the way they are, they just blend right in with the background, right in with the landscape that they're in, and we don't want that. We want them to stick out a little bit more. And we're gonna darken them. Now, the way I want, this isn't a realist painting, you know, I am not taking a picture and trying to show you exactly where a tree is and where the sun's coming from. I am trying to communicate to you a feeling. I want it to make sense in your mind, and there are certain rules that I have to follow in order for you to look at this painting and accept it and follow the cues that I place in it to evoke something in you. So in order to do that, I use color, I use angles, I use spacing, I use, I'm going to call it the beat. And when I say that, the frequency and amount of dark and lights that are in there, and the amount of movement and clutter, if you will. So when I am looking at these trees, I know I want them to stand out. I want them to be part of what holds your eye in the painting. So in order to do that, I'm using a backlit stance. I'm very diffused, but basically backlit, meaning that all the light is coming from behind, and that's where most light is. And as you come forward, it's going to get darker and darker and darker, kind of like you're standing on the edge of the woods, which is represented here in this dark area. I'm going to make this darker area. It's going to make you feel snuggled. And then we'll have these trees here, which are a little bit lighter, but they'll hold your eye in, but they have to be detailed. I don't want them to be dark. I want the painting to continue to feel light. So, but I need to put detail in them. So that's what this is about, is making these trees stand out in order to keep the cohesiveness and balance in the painting and stay true to the feelings that I'm trying to invoke in the viewer. I really wish I had a different color of blue. I want to get some cerulean blue. Works great for this for these trees. they're stopping. They're starting to come to life. I decide which I'm gonna use this pen today. It's a long time since I've done this too. Now I put in much thicker paint on my brush. It's important when you're putting these in that you look at your spacing. Try not to get too many going, like you don't want like two next to each other that look identical. You know, you want it to look natural. I mean, you know, pears come in in nature, of course, but it's they aren't exactly even if they are exactly the same size, they're not standing exactly next to each other, and you're not looking at them at exactly the perfect angle. I mean, that happens, but it's just not common, and it just doesn't look. Your gut tells you, something's not right here. It's too perfect. And people get uncomfortable when things are like that. It's just, for some reason, that seems to be human nature. That's the other thing, you know, when what is a perfect tree? What who's to say what that tree looks like? You know, it's, when you're painting, it's yours. If it makes sense to you and made you feel good doing it, and you didn't harm anybody in the production of it, yeah. And when I was learning how to paint watercolor, I've always been a drawer. I guess out of nerves or something, I just always have drawn. I didn't quite understand the concept of painting. I had a great instructor though, and he would constantly remind me that we were painting, not illustrating. And this was about communicating feelings, and not the gross anatomy of a tree. when I started thinking about it that way and loosening up a bit and remembering that I'm painting a landscape. I'm not painting an individual tree or individual rock. It helped me get over some of the I think the right word, obstacles that can get in your way when you're doing watercolor. It can be frustrating when you're first starting. It's not forgiving, you know. In oil, you know, you don't like something, you can just grab a card, just take it right off and it's gone. In watercolor, you either adapt or die. Just throw it in the trash, start over, I guess. I just learned to go with it. It gets expensive throwing away paper all the time. Oh, I forgot what I was saying earlier. I was at the end of every one of our classes, everybody would show we would do a full painting in a class. We worked wet on wet, used hair dryers in between our paintings or in between our drawing, and everybody would show their painting and we would do a critique. Everybody did it. Nobody got out of it. It was lovely. It was lovely, and I was always amazed at how we could all have the same subject, look at the same picture. You know, a lot of times he'd bring in a photograph, and you know, it would be a study on light, or it would be a study on you know, something, but we'd all be painting from a basic idea. And every painting was different. Every painting had a varied color palette. Everybody saw it differently, and it was the most amazing thing. It just you know, everybody's point of view was valuable. I want to say we had people of all types that were there. We had an elderly woman who was the beginning stages of Alzheimer's who came in. And got to watch her go through that. That was emotional. Say that was emotional. think. Well, okay. I need this rock over here. Oops. Yeah, that's got water on it. That's very good. Very good. All right. Okay. All right, good. That looks like it's coming along good. All right, I need need to go use the ladies' room. So I'm gonna pause this.